Why your drawings aren't improving even though you practice? I struggled with it for a really long time, and what helped me was spotting these common drawing mistakes. So now let me tell you about them and, more importantly, how to actually fix them. So first, let's quickly start with the first mistake, which, looking back at my older drawings, made them look super stiff, even though I was practicing gestures every day. So here was a quick fix that I started doing that actually helped me make them more dynamic. So it is a CSI. So let me quickly show you. So then when I did my gestures, I started using these CSI. So for example, I started breaking the body into simple CSI shapes. Here we have a C for torso, another C. Here we have like a S, another C, another C. And I actually tried to have this flow that you see here. So pretty much every line flows into one another. So making that will actually make your poses much more dynamic and less stiff. So here we can actually see it better in more of illustrations. Like here we have a face, a straight line actually, here a C, another C, boom, and this flow, boom. Same here, boom, 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 and even here, boom, boom, boom. So this pretty much this flow of curves into each other. But then what I started also doing was a simple contrapposto, which is pretty much just keeping the angle of the shoulder with angle of the hips at the different angle. So they go in the opposite sides. For example, here and here, this one more straight and this goes down. Here when I started sketching, it was like that. So this basically goes down and then here was another one. Boom. So we have different angles. And here we can see that these actually go in the same direction. Boom, boom, boom. Same here, boom, boom. And even here, boom. And obviously here. So pretty much all my just drawings had the same angle of hips and shoulders. But also looking at these drawings here, we can see one thing that actually makes them super stiff, and it's perspective. So here I actually tried to do like a top view, but I failed. But here it is basic front, front, front. And this is kind of from below, but still front. And now looking here, we have one view from below, another from below, here below, here from top, even here from below, kind of top, top. Obviously, these are some studies. So just changing these perspective will actually make your poses much more dynamic. And it also doesn't have to be like perspective from below or above. What you can do is just move your canvas. For example, here we have like a straight view. We can just move it and we have a simple angle here. But now if you want my brushes, they are for free in the description below, and with them you'll get 30 art tips that will help you improve your art in 30 days. Now let's go to one that every artist struggles, is just jumping straight into details. What I did was just start drawing hair. Boom. I started texturing them like here. And to quickly fix that, we just want to simplify. For example, these body parts here, we have a simple egg shape for the torso here, another like two lines for the shoulders, a cylinder for the neck. Even we can do just clavicles as two lines like that. Then we have sternum, boom, thoracic arch here, boom, and we have simple shoulders. Then we can obviously add some more details, and obviously you can simplify everything like eyes. We see that we can just draw 1 and 2 lines for the upper lid and 2 for the bottom, and we can just add some more details. Same with head, so a simple ball and then a jaw shape, boom, and we have a simple head. Even the torso here, you see a cylinder here going, boom. Then we have an arm, another cylinder, boom, another one, simple here, boom, a head, boom, super simple shape everywhere. So pretty much just simplifying these characters into super basic shapes is giving you a strong base that you can always then add more details. So for example, here this drawing obviously didn't start it as it is. It started as a sketch. Then I went and refined some shapes like you see here. And even here you can see that we have super simple shapes like a simple head, jaw, boom. Then we have a torso, so we have an egg shape here, another shape here, boom. Then legs, another cylinders, and even arms as basic circle here and a cylinder. So everything is super simple shapes. Now, have you ever drew something and it just didn't look like a human or a reference that you were referencing from, and also you didn't really know why? So it's simply because of bad proportions. So I used to struggle with it a lot, as you can see here, like this monster here. And at that point, I didn't really know why it looks off. For me, it wasn't. But obviously, looking now back at it again, it looks horrible. So big mistake that I was making is not being able to fit a whole head in this area here. So pretty much all my drawings were like super exaggerated hourglass body type characters, like you see here, if we take this head here and we try to move it, you see that it has no space, so we should actually move it here. Also you see that this goes I don't know where, because that's not how torso looks. So pretty much just basic proportions. So same as here, pretty much here we have top and bottom of the torso, and in the middle there should be this divide here, but I have it much lower. And also at this line there should be an elbow aligned. So a lot of like really simple mistakes that made it look pretty bad. So obviously here the fix is to just simply study and practice proportions. For example, here when I was doing studies of anatomy, I just wrote everything that I saw. So for example, here I learned that basically you can just divide legs into halves, like here the upper and lower leg, boom. That also the widest part of the hips is around pubic level here, boom. So you have here another proportions, and even some proportions that I came up on the spot, like basically placing a point on the upper portion of the neck, then going down to onto the sternum, and then making like a cross 90 degrees here, and then going 45 degrees here, boom. And we have our shoulders, boom. It's like a schizo method, but obviously not like in every perspective or angle or pose, but you just get the basic and then you can move up or down depending on what arms are doing. For example, maybe it's actually reaching up somewhere. But also there was a lot of mistakes when it comes to drawing faces. So pretty much we just divide the head, then from top to bottom in the middle we have our eye line, we have our eye line, then a little bit above that we have the eyebrows, boom, and then at around here the eyebrows to bottom of the chin. In the middle we have our nose, then in the middle between the nose and chin we have the bottom of the lips, and now on this line there should be actually a jaw, so we can do it like that, boom, and we have a simple face. And then neck here, boom, and super simple. So obviously I recommend doing this on your own, just going through books and practicing the proportions, observing and actually taking notes whenever you draw. Like you see here, I used to take a lot of notes of everything. Boom, just take it in your own words. So in the beginning I made this mistake of actually not using references, which made my drawings much worse. So inside this mistake is actually another one. Even though you might use references, your drawings aren't still looking like whatever you draw. So that's a super simple fix to it, just we want to observe everything. So in the beginning, I just drew whatever I thought I saw. So for example, whenever I, let's say, wanted to draw Widowmaker, I just look at this and just draw, okay, this is a head, boom. Then she got a visor here, boom, whatever. I just didn't really know. I just looked at it, but I didn't study it. So what we want to do is pretty much just observe. So whenever we draw a character, we just want to look at the landmarks, at the angles between them and the relationships between them, like how big they are compared to other things. So for example, we have a head here and we want to just draw this pose, maybe a shoulders here, then we have a simple head here, boom, then we have our hips. Now what is the angle between these shoulders? And we see that this one is higher, so we want to do the same, boom. Now hips are pretty static here. Now arms, let's divide this into halves, boom. We have this one a little bit higher, so boom, boom, angle like that. This goes here, boom. We have a super, obviously this one is lower, so like that, boom, a fist. Then we have this leg that actually goes in front like this, boom. Now this a little bit behind, boom. And we just want to see the relationship. Now here, these are pretty straight, but still this one is a little bit higher. So this can be lower, boom. Now these again, like this, boom. And we just want to observe these relationships, like see, okay, this is more, this isn't in front, so it'd be more here, boom. Now we have our body, simple. And just even with faces, just observe where we have our facial features, like can we divide this face into thirds? Which third is bigger? Also like where does these corners of the mouth align? Boom, we can see that it aligns with this. So pretty much we just want to align things, boom, like that. And we see that we actually align it with the corners, so we should actually move this eye a little bit maybe closer here. Also here we see that, boom, this and that aligns, and here the nose is too small or the eyes are too fall apart. So pretty much just look at these connections, like here, boom, this a little bit, boom, like this aligns here, boom. So yeah, just look at these things, but also we can use references for other things, not only for characters. We can just use it for rendering. So use references, they will improve your art a lot. Now next mistake is pretty obvious whenever looking at my older drawings, and it's just bad lines. You see here we have super thick lines. These are the eyebrows. Here we have like for the jaw, very thick lines. For the eyes, everything is almost pure black. Everything is like very black, and there's not really much variety in the lines. Everything is almost the same, a little bit color, as you can see here. Like we have these lines here, like why they're here, we don't really need them. So we want to actually simplify the lines and use T-lines. So pretty much T-lines are made when we have like objects overlap. Boom, let's say this one is in front. Then here we have a simple T-lines, like here, boom. You see this creates T. So we want to do this same here. So pretty much we just can erase that, boom, clean this up. Take this, and here would be, let's say, a shoulder, and we have something like this, boom. Even on this arm, we don't really need these lines here. We can just get this, boom, T-line, boom, T-line. So now looking at these drawings, we have one T-line here, boom, another one here, like this goes here, even here, boom. You don't have to connect all these lines like this, just have simple T-lines. And for example, we could actually just simplify this even more because we don't really need them. Just have here, here, boom, then this goes here, maybe one here, boom, small like this. We don't also need this here. We can just have like a line here that goes. Now even this here can go like this, boom. Here we have a T-line. Don't really need them, don't need much of these lines here. So also we don't really want to have like more random lines. Like even here there's a lot of random lines that I could have skipped. For example, here we have less lines. Obviously if you have like a construction, obviously if you're just constructing the body, you can just leave them, but then just on a new layer just start drawing with T-lines, and you don't have to connect all these lines here, boom. Now also looking back at more drawings, we can actually see them. We can actually see a lot of chicken scratches. So basically I would just draw that, boom, that were my lines, something like this. Whereas now I try to be more deliberate with my lines and more confident. So I'll see here, make one curve like that, boom, another, boom. There is much less chicken scratches. Still there are some, but for example here, boom, line, 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 boom, line, line, and just less chicken scratches. Now actually how you can build your line quality and make less chicken scratches is just simply warm up. So fill the whole canvas with circles like that, boom, one tap them, make different sizes, so medium, smaller ones, boom. Then you can also just make a point and shoot straight lines from it, boom, in every direction, and then do some random dots, boom, boom, and connect them using straight lines, and don't overshoot it, boom, just try to connect them, boom, like that. Here you have like still guidelines everywhere, boom, like super thick lines, boom. And also one thing here that you see is everything is almost black, every line. And we can actually just do a simple thing that we just take our sketch layer or line art layer and just change color using an airbrush, boom, and we have it. And we have simple different colors. We have a different colors of our lines, boom. So now also if you're struggling with drawing faces, you can check out the course that I'm making about actually drawing faces, fully rendered faces, from a basic potato to a fully rendered one, which for now is half off till I finish it. But now to quickly recap our mistakes, the first one was just making super stiff poses, and we can quickly fix that using CSI lines, but also contrapposto, so boom, boom, and actually changing an angle a little bit. So here from below, here a little bit from above. This will make your poses more dynamic. Then we have the next mistake is just starting with too much details already, and we want to just simplify the whole body into super basic shapes. Like here an egg, cylinders, boom, more cylinders. Just simplify everything into basic shapes. Even hair can be drawn as a simple shapes, boom. The next mistake is just not knowing or ignoring proportions, and thus making your characters look like a goblins. So pretty much just study the proportions. The next mistake is not using references and not observing properly. So seeing all these angles in the body, boom, like aligning different things like shoulder here with elbow here. So this will actually help you draw characters that look like, so this will actually help you just draw much accurate characters. And lastly we have bad lines. So pretty much we just want to use T-lines to show overlap everywhere, like even here a T-line, boom, here a small T-line, boom, even here in the neck, boom. So and also having a line weight, so don't have all lines super thick, have some thinner, some thicker. And what I actually like to do is just leave the insides of my character with a thinner lines and more faded, as you can see here, pretty gray, and the outside ones like more thicker and darker. And now you can also check out my Patreon for monthly tutorials, and if you're struggling with drawing anime faces, you can check out this video here that will help you with it.